Hello. Now, today we're going to be dealing with equations where we have brackets involved. So we know about brackets in algebra, we know how to multiply them out, and I'm going to remind you how it is we multiply them out just before we get into practicing having brackets involved in equations. So if we have a number sitting next to a bracket, it means that we're going to multiply the number that's outside the bracket by each number inside the bracket. So let's practice that. We're going to have 3 multiplied by m, 3 multiplied by m, and I know that because this is a 3 and doesn't have a symbol in front of it, that means that it is a positive 3, so it's going to be plus 3 multiplied by minus 6, and you can see this is a plus 3 in both cases, this is a plus m, this is a minus 6. So I keep the signs of all of my numbers from this line to this line. Now if I multiply that out, I'm going to have 3 multiplied by m. Well, the short way of writing that is 3m. And plus 3 multiplied by minus 6 plus multiplied by minus will give me minus 3 multiplied by 6 will give me 18. And that's as far as I can go because I know that I can't add together, add or subtract letters and numbers. So that's as far as I can go with that question. Now let's have a look here. Same type of situation. I have a minus 5 outside my bracket and I'm going to multiply it by each thing inside my bracket. So I'm going to have minus 5 multiplied by 2x and minus 5 multiplied by minus 7. And again, the signs of each number have stayed the same between the two lines. I had minus 5 in both cases here, and I had plus 2x and minus 7. So you can see the signs are in the same places as they were on the top line. So be careful of that. Now let's do the multiplying out. So we have minus by plus will give me minus. Sorry, I should have equal signs written in here. My apologies. I have minus by plus will give me minus, and 5 multiplied by 2x, 5 by 2 is going to be 10, and multiplied by x. Then I have minus multiplied by minus is going to give me plus, and 5 multiplied by 7 is going to give me 35. And again, that's as far as I can go because I have now got letter and number, and there's nothing I can do. I can't add those things together because they're dissimilar terms. Now that we've practiced our multiplying out our brackets, let's see how we get on with our equations. And remember, it's really important in algebra to keep track of the fact we do little bits of a question one at a time. We're not finding what c is equal to immediately. That's going to be our final goal. Down at the bottom we're going to have c is equal to, or 1c is equal to a number. So that's our final aim. And we keep that in the back of our minds as we're working. So we want to end up with 1c as our final aim is equal to numbers. So let's make some progress. If I see here, I know from BIMDAS that I'm going to do my brackets, or just in practice I'm going to try and simplify the biggest thing first, and the biggest problem I can see here is that I've got my brackets going on. So let's deal with that before we do anything else, and we've reminded ourselves of how. We're going to take the 2 and multiply it by the c and by the plus 3. So we are going to end up with 2 multiplied by c plus 2. This is a positive 2 multiplied by plus 3. And that's still equal to 13 plus c. Now I can multiply this out. I have 2 by c is going to give me 2c, and plus by plus is going to give me plus, 2 by 3 is going to give me 6, is equal to 13 plus c. And now we can see we're back to what we were dealing with the last day. So now we are going to be rearranging our equation so that we end up with 1c is equal to a number. So I have this c on the right hand side, and I know that I don't want to end up with that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take away c from both sides. take away 1c from both sides. And why do I do that? Because now when I have plus c minus c, there's going to be 0 c's on the right hand side. And I want 0 c's on the right hand side. I only want to have numbers on the right hand side. So I end up with c plus 6 is equal to 13. So I've made progress. Now I only have numbers on my right hand side, but I can see that I have a number on my left hand side, which I don't want. So now I am going to take away 6 from both sides because I want to have 0 numbers here. I have plus 6, so I need to take away 6. So I take away 6 from both sides and I end up with c is equal to 7. And now I have what I wanted. I have 1c is equal to 7. And that's my final answer. Now let's have a look at an example where we have 2 brackets. There's nothing different here. We're just going to multiply out our brackets and then rearrange to get x by itself. So again, our aim is to end up with 1x is equal to numbers. So let's go through it. We're going to have, multiplying out our brackets, we're going to have 2 multiplied by 2x and 2 multiplied by 5. And we're going to have 3 multiplied by x and 3 multiplied by 3. Now there's a plus out here, so this is not part of the bracket. There's no bracket out around here, so we are just going to multiply the 3 by x and the 3 by 3. So the 2 is not going to get multiplied because there's a plus sign in between. Now, 2 multiplied by 2x, 2 multiplied by 2x. This is a plus 2, positive 2, there's no minus sign in front of it, multiplied by 5. This is still a plus 5, is equal to 3 multiplied by x, 3 multiplied by x, plus 3, this is a positive 3 multiplied by positive 3, plus 2. The plus 2 hasn't gone anywhere, it's just not multiplied. So now I'm going to have 2 by 2x is going to give me 4x, and 2 by 5 is going to give me 10, and they're both positive numbers. 3 by x is going to give me 3x. 3 by 3 is going to give me 9 plus 2. And they're all positives this time, so we don't have to worry too much about changing signs. Now, before I do any rearranging, I can see something that I didn't have before. I have like terms on this right-hand side. I have 2 numbers here that I can add together, so I should do that simplification before I do anything else. So I'm going to add my 9 and my 2, and I'm going to end up with plus 11. And now I'm back to what we were doing the last day. So I want to end up with 1x on the left-hand side is equal to just numbers on the right-hand side. So I don't want this 3x here. I want to have no x's or 0 x's on this side. So let's take away 3x from both sides. And why do I have to take it from both sides? I have to do it to keep my balance. So I end up with taking 3x away from this side in order to get 0 x's on the right hand side, and I have to do the same thing to the left hand side. So I end up with x plus 10 is equal to 11. Now I don't want to have 10 on my left hand side. I want to have 0 numbers on my left hand side, so I'm just left with 1x on the left. So how am I going to get to 0 numbers here? If I'm at plus 10, I'm going to take away 10. And to keep my balance, I must take away 10 on the right hand side as well. So x is going to be equal to 11 minus 10 is 1. And that's my final answer. I have things the way I want. I have 1x is equal to a number. So you can see we know how to multiply out brackets, so let's do that job. We know how to simplify, so let's do that job. And we know how to rearrange. So if we are dealing with the problem as little bits and we do each little bit at a time, we're able to deal with the problem. So we don't need to get overawed by the fact that these questions are looking quite large now, because we know how to do each little bit. So we just do one right thing at a time, and we're going to make progress that way.